It's locked.
Relapse is a new horror adventure game. You play as an urban blogger visiting the abandoned Arcadia Insane Asylum to take photographs. However, as you are about to leave, you are captured by a masked man who counts to 100, giving you time to hide before he tracks you down and murders you. Who is this man, and why does he want to kill you? There's a huge space to explore within the asylum itself and the grounds. These old Victorian asylums were like small cities, having everything they needed to support themselves independently. Hello, my name is Katie and I'm the lead artist at Blueprint Games. I recently graduated at Bournemouth University in Games Technology. What I studied for my dissertation was the psychology of fear, which is where Relapse was born. I took a lot of the games that were currently on the market, horror games, and I tested people by hooking them up to machines, testing their heart rate and their blood pressure, to try and pinpoint the moments of fear and why they were happening, to try and find a recipe for fear in horror games. I then took this recipe that I'd made and tried to make my own game and see if I could get people to be afraid. And that's how Relapse was made, originally, as a prototype. I tested it on a lot of people and it seemed to get a very good reception, although it was quite crude to begin with. And I decided that after graduating university, I was going to continue Relapse and rework it again into a much better game. I learnt a lot whilst writing my dissertation on the psychology of fear. One of the important things to do is to not use a lot of cheap jump scares. You want them, but very rarely, whilst building a really good atmosphere and a really good storyline to immerse the player into the experience. We also wanted to keep Relapse realistic as possible, since a lot of people said they preferred that type of horror because you truly imagine that you're there. We did a lot of research as well, since we wanted to keep the game as realistic as possible. So we looked up a lot about the UK asylums and the architecture used for those type of asylums, as well as going out with recording equipment to make our own sound effects and soundtrack, atmospheric soundtrack to go along with the game.
Hi, I'm James, the programmer at Blueprint Games. After graduating Bournemouth University, I decided to join Casey because I saw the potential of the game that she was developing for her dissertation. We decided that we didn't want a run-of-the-mill horror chasing game, and we thought that adding puzzles in the style of the old 90s adventure games, it would make it more interesting, while also putting pressure on the player as they would be under constant threat to solve the puzzle. So we were inspired by games such as Monkey Island, Grim Fandango and Sam & Max, and just like the buildings and the story and the atmosphere, we're making the puzzles realistic as well.
Blueprint is a new indie games dev company based in the UK, and we're taking this project very seriously. We've scripted a trilogy of games as the full story plays out. If we can get funding, we've got plans to build the first game for release in 2017. We're creating all our own assets and telling the story of the asylum and the people held there. This is true history, this stuff really happened. There's also a full backstory to be discovered on Dirk, the guy who's hunting you down. We've done lots of research on Victorian insane asylums, and we want it to be as authentic and immersive as possible.
We've also built a website where we will be blogging about our development process. Some of you might already know me from my YouTube tutorials. You can follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. We think that ambient sounds are more immersive than music, so we're spending lots of effort to recreate the sounds you would hear in the grounds and inside the damp, large, old building. The music we are using is minimalist and designed to be unobtrusive, adding to the tension rather than imposing itself.
We've got professional actors in to do the voices for Relapse. The two main characters are played by Tim Hans and Craig Hendry. Tim works mostly in ADR editing, which is dialogue and synchronization and stuff. He's won 3 Emmys for that work, the last one for Game of Thrones in 2015. But he also plays voice characters in a number of different movies. Craig, on the other hand, studied at Poor School and does mostly stage acting. And he works in a theatre company at the moment called To Be Frank.
Hi, I'm Andy. I've got a number of roles here at Blueprint. I'm the project manager, I've made the music, I've written scripts and generally do anything that needs doing that helps Katie and James to focus on doing the game itself. I am, as you can see, experienced in project management. Well, you can't see him experienced in project management, you can see him experienced and I've worked as a professional project manager for probably about 30 years now. So my role really is above everything to make sure that this game happens.
So far, we've been working on Relapse full-time from our own personal savings. That's why we've set a low ask of £20,000 to help support us over the next year.
We are offering an early bird discounted copy of the game, as well as t-shirts, limited edition box copies, and the opportunity for you to appear in the game within the case files or inscribed on a grave. There are also lots of other goodies on offer, such as a retro box edition of the game inspired by 90s adventure game packaging. We've built a free demo to the game as you try to find a way into the asylum. Follow the link on the campaign page to play and share your comments with us through our website.
Thank you for watching, and please support us so we can make Relapse into the immersive and fantastic experience it deserves to be.